Hi, I'm Rob Boyd, an English photographer from the UK. I decided to create this podcast series talking to international photographers whose work I truly love. I realised I knew nothing about these amazing people apart from their names and their stunning work. So I created a set of hopefully entertaining questions that finds out who they are and what they love. Hi Dave, thanks for joining me.
Hey Rob, thanks for having me on.
Brilliant. So if you can start with your name and your Instagram name, that'd be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, will do. So my name's Dave Bland and I go by Dave Saw Something on Instagram.
Yeah, good title. I like that.
Thank you.
Have you got a website?
No, I don't have a website at the moment. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram as Dave Saw Something, but I am definitely thinking about setting up a website this year. It's one of my little checklist things that I need to take care of this year. So hopefully by the end of 2026 we'll have one up. But yeah, nothing at the moment.
Cool. Okay. We'll look forward to that when it happens. Brilliant. So where do you live?
I'm from southeast London, so mum and dad, I was brought up in Bexley Heath. I live over in Belvedere now. For those of you who aren't too familiar with southeast London, if you know Abbey Wood at the end of the Elizabeth line, I'm a stone's throw from there. So yeah, southeast London boy through and through.
I even recognise Abbey Wood. You know, it's one of those ones. Which direction am I going? Oh yeah, Abbey Wood. Okay, I'm all right. I'm doing okay. I'm not going to get too lost then.
God bless the Elizabeth line. Yeah, everyone knows where I live roughly now.
There you go. And where are you from originally?
Yeah, this neck of the woods. So yeah, mum and dad are over in Bexley Heath. It's about 2 miles away from where I currently live in Belvedere. So yeah, I'm like I say, very much a southeast London guy. I've lived around various parts of London, lived in Leeds a little bit over the years as well. But yeah, this is where I was brought up and where I call home now. So yeah, all very much a stone's throw from one another. Yeah. So yeah, it's nice to be back around this neck of the woods, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's obviously you're not going to have a problem with getting anywhere. It's pretty handy for...
No, yeah, I mean, thankfully, yeah, because I'm not a car driver, so I've always commuted, so I'm happy, especially when the Elizabeth line turned up, I can just jump on a bus and be in central London within 45 minutes, so yeah, absolute godsend, but yeah, no, I'm very, very thankful for the commuting options that I've got in front of me.
Yeah, definitely. So, if I visited you, where would you take me to shoot?
I'd start by taking you out of Belvedere. It's a lovely little place, but there's not an awful lot here. I think I'd probably go to one of two places. If you wanted to stay somewhat local, we'd probably do Greenwich. Again, obviously you've got all of the really sort of picturesque, obvious stuff from the observatory. You've got all of the views of sort of Canary Wharf. I love some of the detail and some of the little bits around Westcombe Park, Maze Hill. So there's some really nice options around Greenwich. If you wanted to go a little further afield, we could pop over on a train down to Canterbury. So that's my university town. I loved it down there. I did 3 years. It was probably just about enough, but again, there's so much character to that place. Obviously, it has all the history. It's got the cathedral, but just the various little neighbourhoods, the little twists and turns and the streets. I think there's just so much to be found down there. And yeah, I think probably Canterbury would be first choice. And if you were feeling a bit lazy, I'd take you to Greenwich. Yeah,
Canterbury sounds cool. I've never been, so that sounds like a good option. Yeah, cool, brilliant. I normally ask if there anything for tourists, but you've got a lot on your doorstep.
Yeah, not an awful lot in Belvedere particularly. I mean, it's very like, how do you say, sort of on the commuter belt, I guess, like suburbia. So there's nothing huge around here. But yeah, there's a few little bits and pieces over sort of Welling. You've got Danson Park with a nice lake. There's a few little picturesque spots, but yeah, honestly, you're better off jumping on a quick train ride into places like Greenwich, Blackheath, or even going further southeast. So yeah, nothing particularly around Belvedere, unfortunately.
Yeah, brilliant. So what's your favourite destination in the world? Where do you love the most?
See, it's really hard. I'm sure a lot of people say this. It's hard to pick just one. I think I would go for one of two. It would either be Barcelona. So where I work, we've got offices based over there as well. I get to go over there quite a lot. I'm very lucky in that way. And yeah, the Gothic Quarter in particular, with all the sort of shards of light and the narrow roads and streets you've got around there, it's just beautiful, especially for my style. But anyone who's into photography, there's a lot that you can kind of go and enjoy there. So Barcelona would be sort of the first pick. I think the second one would be Budapest as well, actually. So yeah, I've got good friends from there. I think it's incredibly picturesque. It reminds me a lot of Prague, but with a little bit more of a London vibe to it. And obviously recent events as well. The city feels a little bit younger and a bit more vibrant. So yeah, it's just a great spot to go to. Good accommodation, good drink, good food, the good life, and yeah, just lovely people. So yeah, Barcelona or Budapest would be my first two calls, I would say.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I've been to both, luckily once each. I remember that you've got a lot of history that's never going to change, and then you've got a lot of, modern shops and that sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
cool, excellent. So, where would you most like to visit? What's on your bucket list?
I mean, it sounds a bit obvious, especially if anyone's sort of seen my photography, but I think it would have to be Tokyo. Again,
Hmm.
I'm really drawn like to night photography and neon lights. I am a moth, that old cliche. I'm drawn to light, anything kind of popping from a distance, I'm there. So Tokyo would be the really, really obvious. I think I'd love to just explore Japan as a whole. Again, Kyoto definitely would have an appeal as well. I kind of struggle a little bit, I think, in daytime conditions, but I mean, Japan's such a picturesque country from everything I've seen of it. So yeah, I'd start with Tokyo and probably do a little bit of tour around Japan if I had the chance. But yeah, I think that would definitely be the top of the list. Iceland is a place I've always had a bit of an eye on as well, but looks a bit chilly from what I've seen. So yeah, maybe Tokyo.
Yeah, yeah, no, good choice. I think you probably end up sleeping most of the day, and then go out in the evening
Yes,
and shoot the whole night because I think
or
that's
just not, or, or just not sleep at all. One of the two.
well, yeah. There's always that option, but you might go a bit, stir crazy.
A little, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, good choices. Yeah, yeah, brilliant.
Thanks.
So, if you could time travel, where and when would you visit?
That's a tricky one. I mean, as a kid, I was really intrigued by the Roman Empire. And
Hmm.
again, one of my favourite movies is Gladiator. So I think it'd have to be back to ancient Rome. I would hopefully be able to smuggle a camera with me as well, and nip and tuck in the alleys amongst the masses. I'd love to try and document what ancient Rome was like. Yeah, it's always fascinated me from so many aspects, like the politics and then like the warfare and the technology they had there. Obviously, it was a lot of sort of power struggles as well. I think that'd be a really fascinating time to try and go back and capture those little moments.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think yeah, ancient Rome. I don't think I'd look particularly good in a toga, but that's somebody else's problem, not mine. So yeah.
yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, and that there's not much to say about that, but yeah, fair enough.
No, no, no. Yeah,
Yeah,
best move
yeah.
on.
Yeah, good choice though. Brilliant, excellent stuff. Right, brilliant stuff. So, if you could photograph anyone in history, who would you shoot?
This one, this takes a lot of thought. There's so many different people I'd love to like sit down and pick their brains. Because for me, if I'm taking photos of people, I'd want to spend some time talking to them as well. If I had to pick one, I think it would be Barack Obama actually.
Yeah,
Especially nowadays, I think we kind of miss people who are straight talking, charismatic, talk a lot of sense, have that kind of calm demeanor, but also have their own story. Like for me, like he's an incredible orator. He's always someone who's been really charismatic, but still connects to people. And I think that's a skill that many, many other people could really benefit from nowadays. So, yeah, I'd love to sit down, take photos, and maybe pick his brain a little bit and try and understand a bit more of his own personal journey about how he got to be obviously one of the most powerful men in the world at his time and maybe in recent history. So yeah, I think Barack would be very much top of my list.
yeah, no, perfect choice. I totally get where you're coming from there. Yeah, 100%. Perfect. Yeah, brilliant. So, tell me a fun fact or a story about yourself.
Fun fact about myself. I mean, again, I think those of you who've either seen my work or maybe know me a little bit, I'm definitely a nerd. I'm definitely into board gaming and chess. When I was a kid, I was pretty good at chess. At the age of 5, I sort of learnt the game from mum and dad, and yeah, I spent a lot of time sort of learning it, and I'm incredibly passionate about teaching it now. So yeah, I was pretty good for my age up until about 11 or 12 years old, and after that, I sort of gave up on it a little bit. Yeah, but I'm really into anything that kind of brings people together. I wouldn't say I'm competitive, but I do like playing games where there's a bit of competition to it. So yeah, I'm really into my board gaming. Have been for about 10 years, but yeah, chess is something that's been with me, yeah, over 40 years now. So yeah, really, really nerdy. Used to be pretty good at it back in the day. I kind of fell off a little bit, especially when I got to university. But yeah, those are the two things. If you ever want to get me really excited, you can talk to me about photography, about music, or board gaming, and I will not shut up for a while. So yeah, good luck to you if you ask.
And have you been down to Camden? Have you played the guy there? Have you seen the chess
I've been
guy?
to Camden a fair few times. No, I mean I know there's a little bit of sort of chess hustling, and again, there's actually a really good
Yeah.
spot on Fridays in Waterloo, just
Oh wow.
outside Waterloo Station. They, especially in the summer months, they get a few people just outside the train station. They'll play some music. They're normally there until about 1 or 2 in the morning. It's just street chess, bit of blitz. People bring drinks and snacks, and they hang out there. It's just good vibes. People just hanging out of all abilities, and yeah, that was lovely. I sort of bumped into them about 3 years ago. And yeah, if anyone's into chess and just wants to have a quick couple of games and you're around that neck of the woods, I can definitely recommend it. So yeah.
Yeah,
I
cool.
love the game. I've always enjoyed it. So.
Well, I've got the patience of a gnat. So,
Well, you and I both. I didn't say I had patience. I
um,
just enjoyed chess, but
you
not the
know,
same
I'm
thing
like a
necessarily.
magpie with my photography. I like all the stuff you like. I
Hmm.
like all the, you know, the neons. I like the colors. I like the reflections. I like everything else. But I don't have the patience to stand there and wait. And it's the same with playing chess.
Yes.
I can do chess for, you know, a couple of moves, and then same with Monopoly. I can play Monopoly for probably about 20 minutes to half an hour, and then I'm like, no, I've had enough. Sorry.
Don't worry. If you've got
Yeah,
20 or 30 minutes for a board game, Rob, I'll definitely get you onto something other than Monopoly. Don't worry. I've got a few I
yeah,
can recommend for you.
perfect. Yeah, sounds good. Brilliant. So we'll start the weird questions. What's your favourite word?
My favourite word. It might be actually. I think it would probably be onomatopoeia.
Wow, yeah.
It makes you sound more intelligent than you really are. And yeah, it's just one of those ones that I remember as a kid. I learned, oh, that's clever. But yeah, probably onomatopoeia if I'm being a little bit academic. If I'm in my day-to-day life, something that I say a bit too much is probably absolutely. I love like being positive around people. I love like building confidence with the people I work with, people I hang out with. So I'm often caught saying absolutely, absolutely love
Yeah.
that, Rob. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So yeah.
brilliant. Yeah. And it's one of those things that I think on this podcast when it comes up all the time. Yeah, absolutely. And then is one of those things that we just say all the time. Don't even realize it until you
Yeah.
actually hear yourself back. You think, oh my God, how many times did I say that? But there we go. Yeah, good choice. Yeah, brilliant. Excellent. So, because it's an international podcast, a new saying or a new word that I may not know.
Okay, so I'm from southeast London, and one of the things that we often say around here, rather than sort of pausing and finishing a sentence and then starting a new one, is we've got in it, which is just isn't it, but you
Yeah.
just say in it, and you make it almost like a full stop at the end of a sentence, possibly with expletives. We won't get into that, but yeah, definitely around southeast London way. My mum and my sister in particular, they'll string off a sentence, and it will probably end with in it. So it's
Oh wow.
just letting you know that sentence ended. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the local ones, but yeah, hopefully that helps some visitors to London when they come around this neck of the woods in the future.
Yeah, because I didn't realize it'd be like your mum's generation would, you know, put that in there. So yeah.
Uh, no, it's definitely my sister's generation. I think it's rubbed off on my mum, and if I called her out on it, she'd hate me for letting her know. But yeah, she's been caught up, trying to be not so much cool like the kids, but it's definitely
Yeah.
my sister and I guess my generation started off, and my mum's picked it up a little bit. So
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
yeah, I think she'll thank me for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we won't mention it if I see your mum ever. It'd be like, you know, I won't pick up on it.
It's for the best.
So, when did photography click for you? Obviously, excuse the pun, but when did you realize you could take a good photo?
Well, I've only been shooting for about 2.5 years, and honestly speaking, I think it only clicked for me a couple of weeks ago. So I've always been, I think I'm quite a humble person. For me, photography is all about learning, improving, just enjoying the journey and not necessarily getting to the end destination. I'm never going to be a perfect photographer. I don't want to be one of the best. I just want to enjoy it for myself and get better as I go along and see the progression. But there was one image that I took, spoilers for a bit later on, some of my favourites. There's one particular image I took that really sort of captured people's imaginations a little bit more. It didn't go viral, but it got picked up by a few different groups, and I got a lot more sort of compliments, and definitely different to the kinds of things that I normally receive as feedback. So that was just great, and it made me genuinely think that maybe I can take photos of the front of people's faces rather than the silhouettes that I tend to and been drawn to over the years. So again, I think that's the moment where I maybe sort of adapted my way of thinking or added a little string to the bow, and maybe didn't quite click for me. I was kind of enjoying the journey before that, but it was definitely one of those moments when, okay, that's an image which other people really love. It's one of three that I've printed out of my own, and I've got at home here now, and I'm really, really proud of it just because it feels like a bit of a turning point, you know. So yeah, that's probably just a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully there'll be another turning point soon, and yeah, that's the name of the game for me, just to keep learning, keep enjoying, and just keep being creative, hopefully.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it is. Otherwise, you're going to get bored if you're not, you know, you're not getting to that point where you're like, oh wow, actually, that's something new. That's something that I've not done before, and you know,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure, and especially when you're drawn to a certain style, like I think everyone's the same, right? When you pick up a camera for the first time, you just start taking random photos, probably in automatic, and you just take photos of things that are pretty or catch your eye, and that's fine in itself. But after a while, you start sort of narrowing down, and you get to that style where, you know, as you said, we're kind of moths drawn to the light. We might find a puddle and look for the reflection, and once you go into that lane, I think it's really important for us as creative people to kind of keep looking at the world a little differently and challenge ourselves and try slightly different things. Otherwise, you'll be forever stood next to a puddle, and yeah, you don't want that, and neither do they. So I think it's great that we can add a little bit more, another string to the bow, as I say, or another texture to the way we take pictures of the world, and I think that's great for us and keeps us motivated, hopefully. So otherwise, yeah, like I say, you'd find me next to a puddle in Soho somewhere, and that'd be embarrassing in a few years' time. So yeah, hopefully I'm progressing.
Yeah, no, perfect. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely spot on. Brilliant. So this is the really hard bit. Your favourite 3 photos and why you like them.
Okay, so I have come relatively prepared. I've got them sort of sat next to me. So I'm going to do them in chronological order. The
Sure.
first one is an image of mine called Red Rain that I took around, would have been about a year and a half ago. It's incredibly abstract. It is literally an image of a puddle with 2 yellow lines going through it, but the red light of the Soho sign reflecting into it. You can't tell it's a Soho sign, but it's just very abstract, very colour heavy. But it is one of those images I was really proud of. Again, it was low light. I was trying some intentional sort of camera movement. And it's one of those images that really just kind of jumped out at the moment I captured. I went, wow, okay, I'm happy with that. I've grabbed something that I'm really, really happy with. And yeah, that was the first one I ever printed out of my own. And it was the first one that I've had printed in a book. So yeah, I'm really, really proud of Red Rain. Again, it's probably not very typical of my style. Sorry.
I am.
All right. So that's my first image. I think my second image is one that I was really, really happy with. I called it Slowing Down. It's a very obvious spot in a lot of ways. Most street photographers who are in London have taken a photo very similar to it, I'm sure. And for those who aren't from London, it's at London Bridge. You go to the far side and you're kind of looking back over at the Shard with the spiral staircase. So I think most people kind of, if you're a London photographer, will know what that is. But it was on a weekday morning, probably around 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and there was this one lady who was on her own, walked along and just stood and took a bit of a moment for herself and looked at the Shard. And I managed to capture that. I was really, really proud of just catching one person having a moment and just slowing down. And I think it sort of reminded me that even in a really busy city like London, it's great you get these moments and people are sort of taking the time to just take a breather and sort of take stock of whatever's going on in life. And again, it's one of those images, like I say, it's nothing particularly original in terms of the location, but hopefully I sort of grabbed a moment there that not many other people will be able to see or enjoy in that way. So yeah, that's one I was really, really happy with. And then third, but definitely not least, was the image I sort of alluded to a couple of minutes ago. It's called Out of the Shadows. So this one's over at Chinatown. Again, I'm really, really proud of this one in so many ways. I think a lot of my photography, the theme of it is silhouettes and figures and mystery. This one's quite different. It's like I say, a shot at Chinatown. You've got red lanterns on a blue sky, really vibrant colours in the top left corner. Bottom right, deep black, and one lady just walking up through, and she's walking through a piece of light, illuminates her face. It just matches everything, like in terms of just that feel. She's sort of stepping forward, coming out of the dark into a bit of hopefully a happier moment or a symbolic piece. So yeah, that one for me, I just love the composition of it, and that's the one that a lot of people have given me some really different feedback on. It's quite different for me as well. I tend to be really shy as a photographer and a bit of a wallflower, so it's very rare that I get an image of someone who's recognizable. This one really worked for me, and hopefully I'll be able to capture a few more things like that in the future. So those would be my favorite 3, I would say.
Yeah, good choices. Absolutely spot on. And with the rain one, well, the red rain one, I mean, those raindrops are like pin sharp. I mean, it's not often you get that kind of, you see that it's raining, but you don't often get the details in the rain. So that's,
Yeah, I mean, I remember it really, really well. It was just around the corner from where I used to work at that time, and it was torrential rain. And I had no umbrella with me. I had my little Sony camera with me. I was like, you know what? I just love the colours that are there, and I'm just going to risk it. So the camera came out, got a bit wet. I was a bit worried I was going to frazzle it, but those Sonys are quite hardy. So yeah, the camera survived. That was the first image I really got. Like you say, I got something a little bit different, and yeah, for me as a young-ish photographer, in terms of the amount of time I've shot, it was quite nice for me to take a picture that not many people would recommend you take. It was a bit different, very abstract. So yeah, that was the first one I started getting a bit more confidence, and yeah, I like the detail in it too. So
yeah, spot on. It's brilliant. Excellent. So what advice would you give a new photographer?
There's 2. Number 1, don't spend a ton of money on gear. Trust me, I've done that for you. I've got way too many cameras, both film and digital. You don't need to do that. Just use what you've got. I know everyone says this, but yeah, the best camera is the one you've got in your hand at the time. So yeah, by all means, feel free to explore equipment, look into extra lenses, but only once you're comfortable with the gear and making sure that you're kind of familiar with your own camera. I think that's the most important thing. But the second part is kind of linked to that, which is the money you save not buying camera gear, spend it on experiences. So go and spend that money traveling, go and spend it on workshops, go and spend it making moments, which even if you haven't got your camera with you at the time, you're going to look around and enjoy life a little bit more. You don't need camera gear to the extent that I have, for sure, and I'm sure many of us have that. Save that money, go and see something a little bit different in the world, or jump on a train and go to the north of England, or wherever you want to go. Just go and live a little bit of a different moment. Use the money saved from the camera gear to go and see a different spot, or maybe see a different culture or something like that. So yeah, I think the two bits of advice are kind of linked, but you don't need as much gear. You need to go out more and just press the shutter and play around. Like, it's meant to be fun, right? I think that's really important as photographers. We don't lose sight that it's an art form. It's something we're all meant to enjoy. We want other people to enjoy it. Don't turn it into something where you're pushing yourself and you don't feel your images are any good anymore. No, just go out there. You're going to fail. You're going to learn something from that. That's fine. Just go back and try again tomorrow, and you'll learn something each day, I'm sure.
Yeah, brilliant. And with the workshops as well, I mean, you learn so much from other photographers that have been doing it for... Yeah. They do have their set ways, they do have certain ways of doing things, but even with that, you come away with something every single time, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I've been on a really wide range of workshops, like people like Brian Lloyd Duckett at the beginning. I've just come back from one with Marco Vilm, been with Mark Fernley, Matt Hall, Craig, and there's just a whole bunch of guys. And I think actually the more input you get in different sort of flavours, you can kind of pick what works best for you. But the other guys are also going to give you something that's useful, even if it's not your own style. So yeah, Brian Lloyd Duckett, I'm not a street documentary photographer, but I definitely learned things about how he would try to look for moments and anticipate things. So yeah, I think every time you go to a class like that, keep an open mind, even if it's not a mentor or a workshop that naturally fits your own style, because I think the more input you get, the more creative you can be with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant, excellent. So what you got going on next? What's coming up? What you got, any goals or anything doing?
I mean, I just printed out my first 3 prints of my own. I've got those up in my house now, which is kind of a nice landmark moment. As I said, I'm going to try and put together a website at some point in 2026. I think that's definitely a little bit overdue, and I want to sort of try and curate some of my images on there rather than just feeding the Instagram algorithms. So that'd be nice to sort of separate that. And I think lastly for me, it would be what I've just said. I want to try and keep traveling around to different spots, see different parts of the world, make some moments with my friends and family, and have the camera in hand and just keep snapping away. And hopefully we can grab a few more fun images along the way that people get to enjoy. So I think that's kind of the first 3 things I've got on my mind at the moment. Keep printing stuff out, keep learning, and just live in the moment a little bit.
Yeah, brilliant, excellent. No, that's great. Well, hopefully we'll meet in London next, because we've got the London Festival at the end of May. So I hope we'll meet up then, or maybe Dublin if you're there for Dublin as well. We might cross paths. You never know.
I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there in Dublin for sure, and I'll be at the Street Badass Festival as well in London. So I'm sure I will bump into you soon, Rob.
Busy month, May. It really is.
It's the way we like it.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I love your work. I've told you many times as well. It's been great.
No.
So,
and again, thank you very much for having me on. And thank you. And again, just a bit of an extension. Obviously, you've been a big supporter of mine, and I really do want to shout out. And I think there's many of us photographers who really want to say thank you. You've been really supportive, not just the community you create, but having us on your podcast. Just keep supporting their work, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much for having me on. Keep spreading that positivity around. I'll try and ripple it out, and hopefully we can keep making street photography a fun place for everyone to be. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. And you know what it's like when you enjoy something and you love something. It's not work. It's just just want to tell everybody about it and get it out there. So cool.
Well said. Right, well said.
We have a brilliant evening, and I'll leave you in peace.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Rob. Take care. Cheers, mate. Bye bye.